So far, it looks like all ladies, but I know we are expecting men to come. We are in here for a pre-launch webinar for the book, The Way She Leads. My name is Dottie, and I'll be the moderator for today. So before we proceed to the matters of the day, I'd like us to start with a word of prayer. So let us believe together and pray. Father, we are grateful in the name of Jesus. We are grateful for today. We are grateful for the gift of life. We are grateful for the opportunity to gather here today, even as we prepare for the upcoming launch, oh God. Thank you for the opportunity to be part of this noble work. Father, we know that the writing we have put down will affect and influence lives, not just women, but even men as well. We thank you that this work will go further than we may think, and that many lives will be transformed. We give you praise as we start our conversation. You are involved. You are very welcome. We give you praise and honor, and it is in Jesus' name that we have prayed. And we can all agree and say amen. Amen. So like I said, this is a pre-launch conversation. This is a pre-launch conversation. We have the launch event coming up on the 1st of November at the Trademark Hotel. But this is giving us an opportunity to get to interact with the co-authors of the book. The Way She Leads is an anthology featuring 13 different women sharing their leadership experiences. So it is full of lessons and impact. It is a book, or it is a work that every woman would want to have, and not just women, because even men, they have women around them. Could be a mother, could be a daughter, a sister-in-law, mother-in-law. All around us, we have men, and all around men, there are women. So this is the work we're talking about today. So this conversation is simply to let us get to know our authors. We have had three other pre-launch webinars. This is our fourth one. So far, this makes the 10th person. Okay, so we have so far had a session with 10 of the 13. So we have 13 more. We have 13 more coming in next week on Monday, and then we shall see the way forward after that. So with me today, like I've said, are 3 of the 13 women featured in the anthology, The Way She Leads. This is Julia Thitai, Linda Mworia, and Catherine Nyaga. I will just want to make a mention of something about them, after which I will invite them to give an elaborate introduction of themselves, touching on their personal, leadership, and professional experience. I love to do it alphabetically. So, Catherine, you know you will always go first. And Linda, you know you will always go last. But sometimes when I feel like reshuffling it, it will happen without notice. So always be prepared. So I bring to us Catherine. Catherine is a seasoned leader with expertise in governance, risk management, compliance, audit, and accounting. She holds the position of co-chair at the Institute of Risk Management, IRM East Africa Group, and serves as the Internal Audit Manager at ABSA Life Assurance, Kenya. With that, I want to bring Catherine to us to elaborately introduce herself. Please, Catherine, share with us more about your personal, your leadership, and your professional background. Karibu sana.
Mute. Sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, so my name is Catherine Nyaga, married to a man by name Mr. Mbithi. And I'm happy to be here, first of all, and to be part of this process, to meet my co-authors and everybody else who has dialed in. So I'm currently working for ABSA Life Assurance as the internal audit manager, as you have rightfully put it. I like to call myself a governance, risk management, and audit professional. And also I have some accounting background. Having served as an auditor majority of my career life, and also now moved to risk management. So first of all, personally or socially, I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I have two lovely children, and I'm also a career woman. When I speak about my career, I like to mention, like I said, day to day, I spend my days in Absa Life, where I'm the internal audit manager, but I'm also serving as a co-chair of the Institute of Risk Management, which is an institution that offers certifications in risk management. It's headquartered in the UK, so we represent the East Africa group, and I'm serving as a co-chair at the moment since last year, March. That's when I got appointed. And then I'm also serving on several boards, currently sitting in 4 boards. So that would explain why I specialize in governance, risk management, and audit. So that's basically who I am as far as leadership is concerned. Back to you, Dottie.
Thank you, Catherine Nyaga. We are just beginning to get to know you. We hope to know you more as we proceed with the conversations. So our next panelist, according to my order, is Julia Thitai. Julia, please elaborately introduce yourself. Give us an overview of your personal, your leadership, and your professional background. Take it away.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to everyone who has joined us for this webinar this afternoon. We are very grateful because this is a momentous journey for us as now authors. And we just want to thank you so much for giving us your time to listen to us. My name is Julia Thitai. I am a seasonal healthcare leader. I have been in the healthcare industry for the past few years. And I currently serve in the board and also in the committee for the Kenya Association of Private Hospitals. I also am a board member of some of a few businesses. In my leadership journey, I would just like to elaborate a little bit further, and which I have talked about in the book, is that I have been a leader since I was very young. And part of my journey in writing this book, I think, has also been elaborated by how growing in education has been a momentous and an important instrument for me. I currently have also been in the marketing industry, where I have led different campaigns which have been run across the country to be able to change the consumer awareness of different products and also services within both government, multinational, and also the private industry. For me, being in this book has also been one of our momentous journey, because I had read a book. I think, Dottie, I don't know, you'll allow me to just mention. I had read a book written, How Women Rise, which is about the barriers which we as women have in different organizations or in different capacities that we are kept in. And one that stood out for me was where I have not been able to pronounce or to accentuate and tell my story to other people. And that is a barrier which I have seen throughout my journey. I have knocked on doors which have been shut before, where I have been an only woman sitting in board or even in leadership positions. And I realized that it is different for women to actually talk about our story, our own individual story. It is easy for me to talk about my company. It is easy to talk about the work that I do. But to talk about myself, it's something that I noticed has been a weakness for most women, and especially for me. And after I read that book, coincidentally, Zion Publishers had reached out to me, which is now how I explain things work in miraculous ways. And they asked me to actually submit my chapter of my journey and, you know, my leadership in terms of what I've been doing. So for a few months after being asked, I had really not had the courage. I want to say I didn't have the courage to share my story, because I had also gone through some transition in my life. And I said, I'm not too sure if I wanted to actually share my story for other people to hear. But then I realized that was one of the weaknesses which we as women are not having out there, to actually share our story and make it written and make it out there. So I decided to actually embark on the journey and start writing my chapter of the book, which includes my educational background. I have gone through university. I have gone through a lot of professional courses, which has been one of continuous learning. And also, I have also gone through a shift in my career where I began as a marketing and sales executive. And I grew until now where I'm now in the healthcare industry. One of the key things I would just like to say is that in the journey of writing this chapter and also into my leadership chapter has been one of breaking barriers, and also one of where I have been called in positions where I thought I was not qualified, but God gave me the ability to be qualified. So I thank you so much for allowing me to be part of this journey. Over back to you, Dottie.
Thank you, Julia. We are just getting to know you. As we delve into our conversation, we hope to get to know you more. From the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. So we are eager to hear more from you. And now I get to you, Linda. The floor is yours. Please tell us something about yourself, about your personal, your leadership, your professional background. And with that, allow me to say what I know about you. Linda is a certified customer experience specialist, 14 years of experience in election management. Her focus is on customer experience management, public relations, stakeholder engagement, and voter education, excelling in creating customer-centric experiences and enhancing stakeholders' engagement. You can go ahead and introduce yourself, Linda Mworia.
Thank you, Dottie, and thank you everybody who has joined us in this call this afternoon. I've seen familiar names, so I'm very happy that my family, my friends have joined in and they continue joining. And I'm happy to join my co-authors, part of them, Catherine and Julia, in this call. So you've partly introduced me, and maybe I'll talk about the other side of me, my personal life. So like you said, my name is Linda Mworia. I'm a mother of 3 girls and I'm married. And more to that, I'm a curious person. I like to know things. I like to know a diverse things about life, about politics, about health, about education, and all that. But more to that, I'm also passionate about natural health. So most of my friends call me a herbalist because my house looks like like a herbal clinic. But more to that, speaking about the professional side, that is, like you said, I work in elections management, and I work at IEBC, the electoral boundaries and the Electoral Commission of Kenya, and I've been there for the last 14 years. I joined after the defunct ECK. So I joined during the IIEC, the Interim Independent Electoral Commission, which presided over the current Constitution of Kenya, 2010. One of the big things that give me pride for working at IBC. And why I'm talking about this is because usually people think IBC has no faces, so I'm representing that face. And more so, I represent this face as part of the communications department of the IBC, where I lead the customer experience team and also handle a bit of PR. And so that's part of my professional journey. But more to that, I think my philosophy in leadership is grow where you're planted or blossom where you're planted. One time I traveled, and because whenever I travel, I like buying things to remind me of place I've been to. So I saw this plaque, a little wall hanging, which I bought. And it's the first thing you see when you get into my house. Grow where you're planted. And it keeps, when I saw it the first time and why I bought it, it's because it spoke to me that whatever you're doing or wherever, or whatever role that you get, or whatever opportunities that you get, or a project that you're thrown into, find something to do within there, grow there. Sometimes, of course, there will be the doubts. Maybe you've never done this before, or it's a difficult or a challenging role, but find a way of growing there. Find something within that project or within that sphere of life to blossom through it. And for me, along my professional journey, because I started in marketing and sales, and then I got into customer experience, I think that's how I finally got my passion. And that's how I got certified to be a customer experience specialist, because I call myself a customer advocate. We are all customers at some point. We go to the markets, we buy, we trade with other companies. So I like to advocate for the customer to get the best of the experiences. First of all, as value for their money, but also because that is what will scale your business. You cannot, if you have a product, if you're running a business, if your customers are not happy, regardless of how good that product is, customers won't come. So as part of my career, and as I was trying to find where to blossom or where to grow within the things that I was doing, customer experience is what got into my heart. And I believe that's one of my passions. And that's why I'm very excited even to do it. And I look forward to my 8-5 because I enjoy doing it. But more to that, I'm an etiquette coach. And because I believe in good manners still matter even in 2024. And they'll continue being important even in ages to come. And so I'm passionate about that. But my main focus is helping young professionals and especially graduates to have work-ready skills. Because I saw a gap there where you get your either interns or you get new recruits or new employees who are fresh from the campus. Yes, they have the technical skill, but then the other softer skills, the how to relate with people, those little things that make the technical skills to shine. That's where I find my grounding in. And also that's something else that I think now I call my purpose. That's where I found my purpose. And so more to that, another philosophy that pushes me and guides me along that journey of career growth and leadership is The Leader Who Had No Title, a book by Robin Sharma. And it's not just a book title, but I think it's something that everybody should do. You don't need to wait to have a big title to lead people or to do something or to make an impact. So grow where you're planted, and the leader without a title. Those are my philosophies along the leadership journey or professional journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you so much for that detailed intro. Like I'm telling everyone, we are eager to hear more from you as the conversation continues. Now, can you in 1 minute, each of you, just tell me how you're feeling about, this all work you have done together with other 10 women? What are you feeling today, even as we speak in this pre-launch conversation? And I will disorganize kidogo and begin with Julia. Julia, what are you feeling right now, wherever you are?
Lottie, I can tell you I'm extremely excited.
Mm-hmm.
I have done TV interviews before. I have been on media. And like I mentioned before, it is easy to talk about your company. It's easy to talk about services that you do. But talking about yourself and actually being vulnerable to ensure that your story can have an impact to other people is an exciting journey for me. I think for me, writing my chapter was one of being vulnerable. I had also read Daring Greatly, which talks about the importance to actually make sure that how you show up is being in your most authentic self. So writing my chapter was very intriguing for me, and I loved the aspects where I could bear my emotions into the chapters. I can see that my family is here. I'm very grateful. I can also see some friends. Thank you so much for joining. And when you asked me that, I also want to thank them, because my journey has also been one of standing on the shoulders of giants. One does not prosper alone, and having a good support system has been very important to me. And so writing my chapter has also been one of making sure that when you read this book, hopefully, that your life can be inspired to make sure that you can be able to engage in your self-accomplishment and not downplay the things that you do, and actually make sure that the world listens to you and can hear your voice. So mine is full of excitement. I'm full of jubilation. I'm very happy to be in this present, and also the opportunity to share what I have gone through as a woman in leadership is one that I'm very excited to share with all of you. Back to you.
Thank you, Julia. That is good to hear. We are excited together with you and wishing you all the best on the coming event launch. It shall be a great success. Now on to you, Catherine Nyaga. How are you feeling? Just tell us what you're feeling, the way you're seated there.
Yeah, I'll say just similar to Julia, I'm excited. It's not been an easy journey. We started this journey a while back, a few months back, and just to see it going through this process, coming to fruition, it's something exciting and something to thank God for. But at the same time, I'm a bit anxious. Yeah, I'm anxious because, this is a book, and first of all, you're thinking, we have the launch coming up. Are people going to show up? Because, having been involved in events planning, there's always that anxiety. You have so much hopes about the event, and you're wondering, will people actually come? The second reason for anxiety is, of course, I've shared my story in the book, the journey that I've come through, and the objective was to inspire somebody. Yeah, so the story that I've given, will it inspire someone somewhere? I would want it to have an impact to as many people as possible, because it's not for me. Yeah. It's the reason I was writing is for somebody to get inspired. So I'm anxious to know whether there'll be a number of people who get inspiration from that story. So I'm hoping for the best, and so I'm both-sided, excited on one side for having achieved so far, but also anxious on the future, which I think is the bigger part. Like the way we say, when a mother is getting a child, giving birth is easier than bringing up that child. So we have given birth now. The baby is here. So what happens next? So that's where I am right now. Thanks, Doti.
What happens next after giving birth? I want to assure you that siku njema huanza asubuhi ama huonekana asubuhi. The support you're getting now is a reflection of what to expect on the launch day, and how many people are likely to have the book in their hand. So you will touch the many lives that you desire to touch. To you, Linda Mworia, are you feeling any different? Do you feel like your two colleagues are feeling? Please share with us, what are you feeling as you sit there?
I think Catherine and Julie have spoken to it. Of course, there's the excitement, there's the anxiety, and during the last webinar, one of the callers said that we should expect criticism, and I think I hadn't thought about that, because people read books and people give feedback, and she said that feedback will not always be positive. Some people critique, and it's okay because people have different perspectives about things. So yes, I'm excited, I'm anxious, but more to that is to, we should be careful what we ask God for, because in January I usually don't write the what are they called, the wish list for the year, but I just say a prayer, and part of the prayer is I told God to do something different this year. And when Mr. Dosso called me about this project, I was like, is that part of the prayers that I made? And of course, I took a day before I said, I agreed, before I told him, yes, I'll be part of the project. And more to that, I was asking myself, so what am I writing about? Which aspect of my life will I write about? Because I have a lot to write. In my social life, I have so much to write. But what should I write, and how what I'll write help somebody out there or make an impact? Because it's not just about writing, but it's about impacting somebody, it's about encouraging somebody, it's about whatever it is that you've written will make or will speak to somebody's life, and there'll be a change. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to the launch. I'm looking forward to reading every story, because even as much as we have the draft, I told myself I'll have to wait until it's launched and until the book is out so that I read. So yes, I'm also anxious to see that book and read every story that part of the other co-authors have written. So yeah, but I'm happy. I'm very happy to be part of this project. I'm thankful to Mr. Dawson. I'm thankful to Zion Publishers. And I'm also very grateful to Mr. Dawson for having this project that highlights women leaders and the work that they do, because on a normal day, I wouldn't have written a book. And even if I had, maybe I would have written a descriptive book on a subject matter that I'm interested about, but not about my life. So yeah, I think this project is good, and that's a good thing that the publishers are doing.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you for choosing to be part of this project. So we together celebrate as we look forward to a very exciting launch event. I would like to make this announcement. We are posting some of the details you may need to have in the chat. There will be a registration link. If you're interested in being part of the launch coming up on the 1st of November at the Trademark Hotel, you can just get the right link. It will be shared in the chat and register for the event. We also have a pre-order link. Suppose you won't be able to make it for the event, but you want a copy of the book, you can already make an order. When the books are ready, it shall be delivered to you. So far, so good. If there's any lessons you're learning already, feel free to share it in the chat. You know, sometimes we miss out on some, but when somebody shares it, then you get to pick it up. So if there's something you're already catching from the conversation, feel free to share it with us. Share it in the chat so that we can read it aloud for everyone to hear and also get to know it. We'll continue with our conversation. This is a pre-launch conversation for the book, The Way She Leads, which is an anthology featuring 13 different women sharing their lessons and their insights from their leadership experiences. It is a good read. You may want to have a copy for yourself. Back to our panelists. May we get to know, Catherine, what motivated you to share your story in the anthology, The Way She Leads? And what do you aspire to achieve with your contribution to the book? Catherine Nyaga.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dottie. That's a good question. So what motivated me to write? It's something I had thought about before. In fact, some of my mentors have challenged me to write a book, but I didn't think much about it. Or rather, I felt it's not yet time to write, because I thought maybe you need a big story so that you can have, when you look at a book, it's quite a lot of thought has gone in there. So when Zion Pearl approached me, it was easy to say yes, because I felt it is time now for me to share my story. And it's been an interesting journey. My leadership has been interesting because I like to also refer to myself as a village girl. I'm a village girl. And when I tell a lot of people that I'm a village girl, they don't believe me. Yeah. But I've had a very strong support system. And I must recognize somebody who is on this call right now, Dr. Naomi Gashara. She's my auntie. Yeah. She's my auntie based in Kenyatta Hospital. She's a cardiologist. And this is somebody who has really been at the center of my life from the time I left high school. And, she's one of the people who, just to digress a bit, but she's one of the people who made me realize that it is possible to achieve some of these things, to have the career life that I wanted to do, because she's also a village girl. She grew up in the village. So she's a mother to me. And having lived with her and observing her, which is actually something that I've mentioned in the book, the role that she played in my career life, she was my role model. Let me just say that. Yeah, so the reason why I wanted to share my story is so that I can reach out to as many people as possible, both in the office and outside the office. I've had, especially these young people who join us, asking me, can you mentor me? Yeah, can you mentor me? And I'm like, there's only so much time I can afford to sit with each one of them. So writing a story was the easier way of reaching out to as many people that as I can. Some have even reached out on LinkedIn. I managed to do one through Global Give Back Circle. She's Ugandan, and I enrolled into that program as a mentor, and I worked with her for 1 year. And to date, we are still in touch. A girl who was orphaned, and we walked through the tough times with her, having had to assume the responsibilities of the parents. She's in school and all that. So I found that experience quite satisfying. That was the first one I actually attempted to be there and holding her all through. So of course, being a village girl, there's a lot of privileges I didn't have when I was younger. And I want to encourage the young ladies, the young people who are coming up. It does not matter where you come from. It is where you're going that really matters. So don't look back. Yeah. Like marathoners, when they're running, you never see anybody looking back because you don't want to see where you're coming from. Maybe those times that you want to pause and just, appreciate yourself, yes, then you can afford to look back, but you should focus on the front. Where are you going? Yeah. So I wanted to encourage young people who are coming up. Of course, there's so many challenges at the moment in our country, but as long as you believe in yourself, imagine it is possible. Can you imagine that young girl who grew up in Kirinyaga? Yeah. Of course, I've mentioned part of it in the book, where we didn't even have proper classrooms. And now I'm sitting in a board based in the UK. Yeah. So it is possible. It is possible. And that's what I wanted to share through my story, reach out to as many people as possible. The second reason that motivated me to do this is so that I can, we talk about the wellness wheel, you want, you just don't want to succeed financially. It's not just about finances. How do we define wealth? From the few books that I have read, there's this one specific one, The Secret. And if you haven't read it, I would encourage you to look for The Secret. There's a book and there's a DVD, The Secret. And it defines wealth. It has to be wholesome, It will include financial, you need psychological wellness, you need physiological wellness, you need social wellness, especially in this era of mental health. You need You need what else? Other areas that affect our life. Spirituality. What's your relationship with God? Yeah. So I needed to be in that space. For me, wealth is defined by a balance in all that. Yeah. So I need to be to have a family that's working well, the physiological side of things, the emotional side of things, so that now I'm able to, have a whole life. I don't want to just be, skewed to one side. And that's why I started by introducing myself as a mother and as a husband, as a wife, because these two play a critical role in supporting me through this process. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to communicate, that yes, there are some people who think, oh, if you really want to succeed, then it's either family or career. When I was younger, I used to have moments with myself. And one of the things I always indicated, and actually on my wedding day, it is something that I said, I wanted to be a mother, a wife, and a successful career woman. And there's power in the spoken word, because I must say, God has blessed me with all three. So, to encourage young people that don't do away with family for the sake of your career, or vice versa, because at one point it's going to catch up with you and you're not going to be happy. So that's why I wanted to do that. And now I'm hoping that through this book, now I'll be able to reach out to many more. I am so happy to hear that Zion Pearl is going to have a soft copy available even on Amazon. So I've spoken to even some of the contacts in the US, and they're willing to purchase a copy. So that way, I want to believe I'll be able to accomplish my God-given plan to reach as many people as possible, and just communicate, not take credit, but communicate what God has been able to do with my life, irrespective of where I came from. So that's what I will share on that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Catherine Nyaga. I would like to give a special honor to Dr. Naomi Gachara for molding you, Catherine. We appreciate you, Mama. We honor you and we value you as a woman of impact. Thank you for joining our conversation today. So we move to Julia Thitai. Julia, please let us know what motivated you to write your story in the anthology, The Way She Leads, and what you aspire to achieve with your contribution to the book. The floor is yours, Julia.
All right. Thanks, Dottie. Just as Catherine and Linda have mentioned, and I think I also read through a little bit about what the other co-authors have also been writing, has been a story on growth, a story on breaking barriers, and also a story of untold times. So my reason to write this book was that I wanted to share my story on the importance of why women, especially those in leadership, particularly have a tendency to downplay their achievements. And also, I realized that talking about our accomplishments sometimes may look as boasting. Whereas for men, it is sort of like a normal conversation, where I wanted to share my story alongside the other incredible women as well, in order to enhance and also accentuate the need of how your career might not appear how you think it is. So I started in marketing, where I mentioned earlier, I was in sales and marketing. I worked for a multinational company, and there I was able to run some of the biggest campaigns across the country. I worked with different countries across Africa, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Mozambique, Angola, the South African markets. And I was very young. To be honest, I'd like to just emphasize that in some of the positions that I've held, I have been one of the youngest, and also maybe sometimes also the only woman. So I was in a position where I had to share, to be in a leadership position of people who we don't speak the same language. We probably do not relate on the same angles of life. And I had to sort of make sure that I am qualified for the position. So my story has been one on where we have run different campaigns across the country. So let me just mention a few, which have been momentous and have also transformed the country. We ran the Equity Mimini member campaign, which transformed the banking industry in this country, and it helped to revolutionize the table banking of where, 10 to 15 years ago, people used to store their money, especially in rural areas. They used to keep their money under the mattress. And we ran one of the biggest campaigns that actually transformed the banking industry and helped people to come and also be recognized within the banking industry. I remember my dad one day, he told me that long time ago when they used to go to the bank, they used to dress in a suit and make sure they're very sharp and they're very well dressed to be able to actually go to the bank. So one of those campaigns helps to transform the banking industry. Another one that was also momentous was running with the Child Welfare Society of Kenya, where we worked with them to help reunite lost children within the country, and also it helped to table some of the bills in parliament to actually protect children within the country. We faced a lot of fights, just as the normal ways of doing of running the parastatals within the country may face. But one I would just like to recognize is the fact that we were able to reunite so many lost children within the country. And those campaigns in terms of making sure that whatever you are doing has purpose in your life. And I wanted to share that when you do your work, you have to be in line with your purpose in life. At that time, I had volunteered in some organizations which include children homes, and also volunteered in other organizations that help. So like I mentioned earlier, my journey has been one of a miraculous journey where most of the things that I work on have been also in aligned to my career as well. So I want to just say that as another campaign that I ran in terms of the marketing industry has been the Communications Authority, where I ran the digital migration campaign that helped to transform the industry that you're currently in. Dottie, 10 years ago, if I was to mention, we would not have a webinar. We would probably be seated today doing the pre-launch in a hotel, conversing face-to-face and making sure that that is the form of media and that is the form of communication we had. And just to mention, we faced a lot of backlash and we faced a lot of, resistance to actually transform to digital migration. And I have also highlighted that in the book. So mine has been one of marketing, and that has been the beginning of my career. And then with all these successful campaigns, I also gravitated to work within the family business. And I also was able to have some positions to help some of our businesses to be able to grow within the capacity that we're in. I just like to mention that when I gravitated to our family business, I can see you told me my audio is breaking. So I'll just, I'll continue, but I'll also try and link into another device. One has been where, when I joined part of my family business, it was also one where people recognized that they used to call me, you are your father's daughter. And fitting in the shoes of someone who has a lot of resilience, and also my mother as well, where they have been captains of industry within what they have gone through in every niche of their career, was also a daunting experience. And I wanted to share that when you are called to positions of leadership, you must also qualify yourself. So I went ahead to enroll myself into a master's program. I also have done a lot of continuous learning programs. If you checked my LinkedIn, I'm constantly updating that I'm going through a course here and there. And that has been one where I wanted to share. Sometimes you are in leadership positions and you feel that you have reached the epitome of where you need to be in your industry. And my reason to write this book was also to encourage young people and also people in careers that they must continue in their leadership journey in education. So currently I'm also enrolled into my PhD program, which I'll be starting next year. And it is one that I'm also excited about. Another reason I also wanted to share my story was when I wrote this book, I had also been in a season of transition. When I transitioned, okay, I'll share a little bit, Dottie, and you'll allow me. I wanted to share about my transition from marketing to healthcare. And when I ran some of these campaigns for the government and so for some of these multinationals, because I also worked with organizations such as Coca-Cola, Unilever, you know, the big brands of consumer marketing within the country. One thing that happened was that I was headhunted into a healthcare organization. And when I went to the healthcare organization, I had little experience in healthcare. But my role was primarily in marketing. So I was able to actually ensure that the brands that we were having at that time had to have some awareness within the country and also out of the country. So we started to run a lot of international campaigns across the world. And some of the outcomes that we had was that we started to now position Kenya as a medical hub. Then here comes now my transition into leadership in healthcare. So when I ran these campaigns now, the board decided that they wanted me to become now the leader in one of the healthcare brands, which I think I can mention is known as Fertility Point. It is the largest chain of IVF clinics within the country. So when I became sort of the assistant vice president at Fertility Point, I started to have a sort of doubt where I knew that I was strong in my marketing. I was strong in my communication in terms of making sure that the services and also the products that we had sort of talked about, even within maybe other industries, was known within the space. Then here comes, I'm told, you're in charge of the P&L, you're in charge of the finances, you're in charge of the HR. And I had little to no confidence with that position. But what I suddenly started to do was that I sought out mentors, I sought out support systems, and I also started to have habits that could support me within that role. And one of the key things that I've highlighted within the book is also having something called key habit stacking, which is where you have things that you do every day or things that you can be able to have within the scope or your capacity of your life that can also help you to actually make sure that you succeed in all roles in your life. So I don't believe in work-life balance. I believe in life-life balance, which means that I like to look at life as a holistic factor. You don't separate work from your home. You don't separate home from work, where you have things that help you to actually make sure that one habit helps the other. So it goes to simple things that as, you know, joining the music choir within the church, having habits such as meditation, journaling, and also having support systems such as mentors and coaches that have also helped me to ensure that I've been able to succeed within my career. So part of me writing my story was to help other readers to be able to culminate and look at their lives. Looking back at your life, you might think those are small wins. You might think those are not things to celebrate. But when you look back and you actually start to write down, because when I started to write down my journey, where I began, you know, in marketing and now transitioning to healthcare, it was one that illuminated my life and showed me that it has been full of accomplishments. And I was very grateful that as I was reflecting during my period of transition, that I also got the call from the Zion publishers to actually write my story, which Dottie, just to mention, I had actually turned down some positions before. I had been asked to share my story in a magazine earlier last year, and I had turned it down because when you look sometimes at your accomplishments, just as mentioned, they might seem small. But when you actually start to write them down and you start to reflect on who you've become, then you actually make it became a moment, it became an aha moment. And I wanted to make sure that other women who are in leadership and other women who are coming up into roles of leadership can be able to share that story. And one last thing, Jyoti, is also one where I have been able to be in positions where I have knocked on doors which have been closed, shut down, and not allowed in. And one of resilience where, for example, when I was in sales and marketing, I had positions where you needed to audition or you needed to pass your audition to positions to get those positions. And I had been neglected before, and I had been given these opportunities later on, which had become very amplified on a national level or a national scale. And I wanted to share this story amongst women in leadership. So I'm very grateful, and I hope this can impact other women who are coming into leadership. Over to you.
Thank you, Julia. That was so detailed. Thank you for letting us know what your motivation is. We are grateful for that. We move to our next panelist, and this is none other than Linda Mworia. Linda, we would like to know what motivated you to share your story in the anthology, The Way She Leads, and what you as an individual aspire to achieve with your contribution in the book. Please go ahead.
Thanks, Dottie. My chapter is titled Creating Impact Through Gradual Change. And of course, I would let the cat out. But part of what I've written just speaks to this, that my inspiration is to empower, especially the young person, the young professional, either joining or who have just been around the corporate world, or anybody who feels stuck at the workplace or at whatever it is that they do, even in entrepreneurship, such that the small steps that you take, and especially when you've identified an area where you want to grow in, don't get stuck or don't just stay there. First of all, find what it is that you're interested in, find what it is that you want, or the route that you want to take within that career, and then run with it. Seek mentorship, go back to school, upskill, learn and relearn. Those are the things that I have written on that chapter to show people that with gradual change, with small little steps, you can grow. Every little thing that you do adds up to something, and it will make you grow. And this is from what I've learned, especially as the Electoral Commission, where we've come from very far, from the defunct ECK and then to the IIEC and now to the IEBC. That throughout my work in all these, from the interim and now to IEBC, we have worked towards improving how we reach out to our voters, how we reach out to the electorate, how we make them understand what's happening within the electoral process, within the governance and democratic space. And so the little contribution that I've made as a person of educating our voters, of educating our stakeholders, of engaging with our stakeholders, meeting and giving them telling them what it is that we are doing. All those little steps have helped me to grow. And that is what I've alluded in my book, in my chapter, where I've talked about the commission, where we began, how I joined. And of course, I've talked about my previous experience in marketing, leaving the private sector, joining the public sector. And those are two different things, and finding my space and running with it. So identify your area of interest, keep learning, keep evolving, continue learning, seek out mentorship, seek out coaching, like Julia said. Get feedback from people and action that feedback so that you keep growing, because we evolve. The things that even you were interested in when you were youth, you're no longer interested in them because you've grown. So find your area of interest and keep moving forward. And this particular chapter, I think, is dedicated to specifically younger people, to show them that, yes, maybe you've gone and done communications in school, or maybe you've gone and done IT or something. But when you get that job, don't just stay there. Learn what else happens in every other area within that organization. Spread yourself, because with that, you'll understand, you might even get to know what else that you're interested in besides whatever it is that took you to school. And also finding that purpose, because most of us don't know how to find purpose. And also I was stuck there some years back, where you don't know what it is that you want to live for. You just go to work 8 to 5. And sometimes you feel tired. You wonder, is that what you'll do throughout your years until you retire? But once you identify your purpose, once you identify your interest, then keep pushing, keep learning, get to know what it is that area entails. Talk to as many people as possible, those who are in the same area. Go back to school. Talk to your team, your teammates. Ask them, what do you think my areas of interest are? Because some of the people who are here in this call are people I go back to and ask them, what area do you think I should improve in? What do you think are my strengths? What should I do? And the power of those little steps that we make eventually, over time, ground you and gives you some confidence, and a lot of confidence, not just some confidence, to identify an area that you call yourself, this is my passion, this is what I want to do with life. And I'm calling upon the young professionals, especially those who are interested in joining the democracy and governance space, that there's a lot that can be done even in that area, where you can create a career, you can have a career in that line. Because I realized that there's one place where there is no career path, especially within Kenya, and people almost like fear elections. It's the other side of politics. And one thing I think I would want to say is to appreciate all the election officials, and especially my colleagues, because it's not an easy job, but it's an enjoyable career, especially when you midwife the democracy, because we call ourselves midwives of democracy, where you're on this side where you are moderating the elections. Most of us are on the other side of voting, and then there's an aspect of the politicians, or the political aspect, the politics of it all. But also there is life on this other side, where there are fewer sides, the elections management itself. So I think my chapter calls upon the youth to identify an area, or the young professionals to identify an area of their interest and run with it, but more so to call them also on this other side to explore elections management as a career. Because there's a lot. You can go the law part, you can go the election observation bit, you can go the advocacy aspect of it, you can go the policy making part of it. So mine is specifically talking to the young people, but also anybody who feels stuck, especially those who have been at work for long and they feel they're not growing, or they feel they're not interested in anything. They feel as if their life is done. So I'm calling upon them to learn, relearn, seek mentorship, grow, upskill, and grow.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you. I think you have given us a sneak peek into your chapter. That was meant to be my next question. So I'll take this opportunity to ask the same question to our two other panelists. I'll begin with Catherine. Catherine, please give us a sneak peek into your chapter. What is one major issue you have addressed in your writing?
Yeah, thanks for that, Dottie. So I'd say, which is something I have already mentioned. One of them is to do with the hand holding. Like I said earlier, I'm a product of being handheld by a lot of people. Because when I look back, having grown up in the village, and I'll tell you the first idea I had is, when they ask children, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I would say I would want to be a teacher because, my parents were both teachers and they're now retired. And that's the best I could see in the village. And my aunties came in. I have two aunties, the one who's on the call now, and there's another one. And I just used to admire their lifestyle. And, that was the first point of thinking outside the village, yeah, where I could see them, like, which I've mentioned, I don't go too much into it, is the one on the call right now. The day she graduated, she may not even know. But that's the day I decided I want to graduate one day, because we went for her medical degree when she was doing medicine, the first degree. When we went for her degree, I was in class 4, and that was the first point I decided I want to go to the university and I want to graduate one day. So that's the first point. Then through school, of course, I got a lot of guidance from everybody. And even through my career, I normally tell people it's only the first job where I got and even that first job, somebody recommended it to me. Yeah. My first internship after in the 4th year during my university, I had a classmate who knew somebody who wanted an accountant. And that's where I started off. And then in that accountant's office, when I was doing that job is when I was told about the next one. So it's always been, I'm in a certain place and I get somebody informing me of an opportunity and I apply and I get interviewed. I cannot say I ever went online or on the newspaper to apply. So networks are very, very important. That's what I've learned in my growth journey. I talked about being in 4 board positions, even though somebody recommended. Yeah. So what I would like to encourage people, those who are here and even through the message that I'm passing through the book, is please take advantage of your networks. Yeah. Get to meet more people, speak to them, know their interests, see where you align with them. You've set your objectives that this is where I want to go. So be very deliberate about the contacts you're meeting. Don't just go for, there's a cocktail and, we are talking about this or the other, politics and the other things, but be very, very deliberate about who you speak to, who you spend time with, because you never know. They might be the next step to the next point in your career. So that's the main messaging. And then also, once you're lifted up to rise, also lift others as you rise. Yeah. And that's what I'm hoping also to achieve through this book. Whereby now that I've had somebody holding my hand to go up the staircase, then I also use my other free hand to lift somebody else as they go up. I hope it's not going to stop at the point of the book. Actually, there's somebody who reached out to me after she saw the launch, and she was asking me, Catherine, why don't you mentor young women on how to join boards? So I was very happy because I felt, wow, it's already starting to have an impact before we even launch it. So thank you, Zion Pearl, because I wouldn't have achieved this. And this is somebody we've been talking to, but she's never thought of asking me for that. But now when she sees the book, she's like, why don't you mentor us on joining boards? So I'm encouraged by that. So networking, and I'll encourage people to just make sure, meet people. And these are not just people who are older than you, but even people who are younger than you. We talk about reverse mentoring. I'm so much old. I can actually get a 20-year-old, even my son who's 13 sometimes, or my daughter who's 8. I learn things from them, especially technology. Yeah. They are doing very well with their phones. So we must be humble enough to allow others to teach us. Yeah. Irrespective of age. Yeah. My daughter knows so many things on the phone. I don't know which artist did what. I don't know which one was arrested from stealing cryptocurrency. Those are things I'll never know, because all I know is audit, governance, risk management. But there's a lot that is happening in our world today that we must be conversant with. So being open to learning from whichever source, not feeling like, oh, I'm older, I've been to school, I know this and this, so I cannot learn anything from anyone. So that's a message I'm trying to communicate through my through the chapter, and it's from schooling, through my career in audit firms and the other places that I've worked, including in the UK, and also after I mean, besides the working environment, also the board positions and other things that I've done, which I don't want to discuss here. But that's a key message. People are good. They are willing to share information. There are many networks where you can engage. I'm a member of Women on Boards Network. That's a place where I've managed to get into board position through, although others have come through other sources. But let's make meaningful connections through our networks. So that's the key message. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine Nyaga. That is a sneak peek into what she has written in her chapter. You want to get to know more? We have a pre-order link for the book shared in the chat. You may just want to make your order. When the book is ready, it shall be delivered to you. And if you're getting interested in the coming launch event, we also have a registration link. Feel free to register, and we will be glad to have you on the day. Our contacts are also available in the chat. You want to reach out, you have a question, feel free to call us, give us a WhatsApp message or a text, we will respond. Thank you so much for joining. This is a pre-launch webinar conversation, and we are gearing up for the main launch happening on 1st of November at the Trademark Hotel. Looking forward to having you. To our next panelist, Julia Thitai. Please give us a sneak peek into your chapter. What is one major issue you have tackled in your writing? Just one.
All right. Mine has been one of transformation, a journey of leading with purpose. So when I moved to healthcare, I had been headhunted into that position where I felt that I was not 100% qualified. And my chapter emphasizes that you do not go for the positions, or you do not go for the capabilities which you think you're qualified for, because sometimes other people may feel that you are qualified for such positions. And where I mentioned that God doesn't call the qualified, He qualifies the call, right? So when I transitioned into healthcare and now leading a team of healthcare experts, doctors, consultants, I had a bit of what I want to call in the book known as imposter syndrome. Now, there is where you feel that you do not have the capability to actually make sure that you can lead with purpose, or you can lead the teams to the best of your ability. And I talk about my journey from where I was in my family business and I was very young, and transitioning to government position, and also now private and multinationals. In all those career transitions, and also in transforming my career, I realized that you need to be the one who actually makes sure that where God has planted you, you can be able to sow. I like what Linda mentioned in the beginning. You grow where you're planted. I like to echo that, and I know that has been part of my journey. I also talk about where my positions in in different organizations, I've been able to break barriers as a woman. And I like to emphasize that young women who are coming up into different roles within the organizations or even within their capacities in life, you must be able to break the barriers where you're planted. I talk about my journey where in everything that I was able to carry out in my career, I helped to make sure that the people I was also working with were able to continuously improve themselves and also become better people. I love leading with purpose. I love leading with my heart. And I love when people can be able to grow together with me. So mine has also been a journey on continuous improvement. And I like that. I also want to echo what Catherine has mentioned. When you are in a position to actually lift other people, you should be able to lift other people as well. And I'm so grateful because our stories seem very similar to each other, and women who are in leadership should be able to have the capacity to improve and increase other women as well. You are exactly who you think you are. Whereas you might be able to have positions of leadership, and you cannot be able to lead without some self-doubt. That cannot happen. That cannot happen. Because at some point you will need other people. You cannot be the finance expert, the HR expert, the marketing expert, you know. You might have a bit and few knowledge on everything, but you need a good team to be able to excel. And my journey has been one where I also talk about how working with the people who are called to work with you should be an exciting part of your career. You should celebrate your wins together, and you can also have your downtimes together. So it has also been where the team has been an integral part of my career, where working with people from different aspects of different angles of the world, across the whole world, from India, from Angola, Mozambique, people speaking all different languages. Sometimes you don't even understand each other. Paris, it has been one where I like to mention that you should use those skills to actually make sure that you can be able to improve each other's life and make your career a successful and enjoyable journey where you lead with purpose and you lead with your heart. Over to you, Dottie.
Thank you, Julia. That is a glimpse of what is in her chapter. You want to get to know more, please register for the event coming up on the 1st of November at the Trademark Hotel, and also make sure you order a book to go together with that. Thank you so much for joining. This is a pre-launch conversation. We have the main event coming up, just like I've said, on the 1st of November, and we're looking forward to an exciting time. And that brings me to my next question. To our wonderful, incredible seasoned leaders, what should the prospective attendees expect to experience? What opportunities are you promising to give to them on the event day? And I want to get back to you, Catherine Nyaga.
Okay. My hand was far because I was thinking Linda will be fast, but let me answer. Yeah, so one of the things which it's not just for the attendees, but for me as well, is to be inspired. Yeah, because I have my story. All the 12 other ladies have their stories, and they're all quite inspiring. So meeting them and getting to hear their story firsthand is already quite inspiring for me. And I'm hoping that as I get inspired, even the attendees will be inspired. So I'll be inspired 12 times more, and they'll be inspired 13 times. So they have a bigger advantage. The other thing is to learn. Yeah. We all face different challenges, and sometimes you find yourself feeling like when you're in a certain you're going through a certain challenge, you feel like you're the only one who's going through that. Yeah. And you don't realize that there are people who have been through it, and maybe instead of trying to figure out by yourself, and you go through a very long learning curve, why don't you consult from those who have been there before? How did they handle it? it's easier. It will make you spend less energy, and you'll be able to resolve your challenge a lot better, or navigate through it a lot better and a lot easier. So I believe there's going to be a lot of learning, and then also to be challenged. Yeah, to be challenged. We will be challenged by different people, because you see, like my colleague Julia has been saying, she started by saying, I became a manager when I was very young. Maybe somebody who's older has been feeling or has not been in a manager position before. And maybe there's something Julia did which, they could borrow, and take up the challenge and take it positively, so that you're able to move forward. So I'm also looking forward to getting challenged. So I'll encourage everybody to come. Let's get challenged. And see how we navigate through the various issues we may be going through in life. And like I said before, which is the main message in my chapter, networking. If you're in business, come with your business cards, exchange them there. Make sure you talk to as many people as you can. You never know. This is the source of your next big business that you may get. And even those others who are in employment, maybe you're looking for a different challenge, a different role. There'll be people you can speak to, and they're going to help you move to the next step. And even if not that, you may be looking for a mentor. Yeah. Like I said, part of the reason I was inspired to write is so that I can mentor. So could it be the opportunity where you find a mentor? Or even for those who wish to mentor and you don't know where to start, there will be somebody you can handhold through the process. So I'm expecting a lot of interactions through this process, through this session. And let's talk, open up, come and be ready to be vulnerable. Share your story. Let's all share our stories. We'll encourage people. We'll also get encouraged. And in the process, we become better versions of ourselves. So that's what I would invite people to do. And if none of those works, you'll enjoy the canopies and the different snacks that will be served. So please come prepared to have fun, to learn, to be challenged, and to network. Make sure you live with as many networks as possible. We have enough time, I think from 2 to 7 p.m. So within that period, make sure you interact, at least get some 5 contacts that you can follow up with to be the next source of your business, or the next source of your mentorship, or the next role that you want to participate in. So thanks, Dottie, back to you.
Some good promises there. I can't wait to be part of this conversation on that day. So I'm going to reshuffle us a little bit. And because Linda thought Catherine was going, Catherine thought Linda was going first. So I want to bring Linda to also just tell us, Linda, what experience, what opportunities should the prospective attendees anticipate to have on that day?
I think Catherine has summarized everything. But I want to add that, not even to add, it's just to amplify what she has said, the aspect of
Speak to us,
networking.
Linda.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So I'm saying Catherine has almost told us everything that we are expecting there, but I think I want to add to what she has said, that this will be an opportunity to network. Maybe there's somebody that you've been wanting to meet. Maybe that person could be part of the 13 co-authors, or there might be somebody amongst the attendees or the guests who you will bump into, and there's somebody that you've been wanting to meet, but you've never had an opportunity. So I think mine is to invite everybody to come and join us, hear people's stories firsthand, see these people face to face, ask as many questions as possible, and even also pitch your business like Catherine has said. So yeah, I welcome everybody, but also it will be a Friday. Yeah, you get some time off to come relax. Maybe there'll be some dancing, you dance and, begin your weekend and begin your month. After it will be the 1st of November. So it will be maybe one of the mini end of year events that you'll be attending. So karibuni.
Asante sana, tutakaribia. Now to you, Julia Thitai. On top of the many promises we are getting, what more should we expect to experience?
I think just to mention what both Dottie, Sir Catherine and Linda have mentioned, it's gonna be I don't know, an out of the world experience, because this is a starter, I think, for each and every one of the authors, because this is our first time to actually, I think, if I am correct, I think most of us, this is our first time writing a book, writing our personal experiences and sharing it with the world, because every person who can be able to access this book will be able to see this from in time to come. So it's one where we'd like to invite each and every person to come and join us, because we want to share our most vulnerable creative journey and also tell our stories that we have been able to lead with where we are today. The way she leads and the title has been one where I also much resonated with, because finding people who actually you look up to is something that you need to have in life and you can be able to share with other people. So if you come for the event, come, ask your questions, network as much as possible, just as my co-authors have mentioned, and make sure you have a wonderful end year of the rest of the year, just as Linda had mentioned. This will become the beginning of the end of the year parties, and we hope to close the year with a bang. So we invite each and every person to come and attend and also come and interact with us.
Thank you, Julia. These wonderful ladies are promising us an end year treat. We will be there. Expect us to come, and we know it shall be such an awesome time. So I would want to open the floor for the audience. If anyone has a question, you have a comment to make, please feel free to post something in the chat. We shall look at it and you'll get your answer. It will be attended to. So if you have a question you want to ask these three ladies, if you have a comment you want to give, you want to congratulate them, please post something in the chat. And as you're doing so, if you feel you want to be part of the exciting launch event that is coming up, please register. We are also providing the pre-order link for the books. You want to have a copy probably because you won't make it for the event. Feel free to pre-order your book. As soon as the book is ready, we shall arrange how it gets to you. So thank you so much for joining. Feel free to say something. Let's congratulate them. Let them tell them something. What is one thing you have picked from the conversations? I have some things I've picked, but what have you picked from the conversations? You know, let's just post something there. Let them know that we were here. Probably they have not seen you. They have not been keen to look and see who came for me. I invited so-and-so. If you say something, they get to confirm. Oh, sure, my friend came. So just post something in the link in the chat if you have something to say. Meanwhile, I'll ask our panelists to begin to share with us a parting shot. Prepare your sweetest words to welcome our audience to the day. Give them every reason on top of what we have promised them to be part of our launch on the 1st of November. And Victor Mbithi says, congratulations to the ladies for good work and to my wife for the hard and good work done. We want to know the wife. Please introduce yourself, the wife being talked about here.
Yeah, that's my husband there.
Wow. So Victor Mbithi, we honor you. Thank you for supporting your wife. We are glad to have you in the call, and we hope you have enjoyed the conversations. Thank you so much. It seems we are well fed. People are so full, they don't want even to share anything. So I'll get back to you, our panelists. Please, before we proceed, Marion Cargo says, congratulations, ladies. This is so exciting, and we'll see you at the launch on the 1st November. You are very welcome. Special welcome to you. And a special mention to my former classmate in high school, Catherine. Catherine, you're mentioned. Victor Mbithi says, thank you very much. And yes, very good presentations. Grace Mutanu says, congratulations, ladies. All was amazing. Oh, congratulations, ladies. It was amazing listening to your stories. The sky is the limit. We are proud of you, ladies. You can read all that and just get to hear what people are saying about the good work that you have done. So as we prepare to come to the close of our session for today, I would allow you at least 2 minutes, every one of you authors, to give us a parting shot. And while at it, do your best ever welcome. Let these people have a reason to join us on the event day. But before you do that, Asinati Makimaro says, congratulations, ladies, upwards and onwards. Thank you, Asinati. So back to you, our panelists, and we begin with Catherine Nyaga. Catherine, your parting shot and a special welcome to this event.
Yeah, so thank you again, Dottie. So maybe my parting shot would be, for us as women, there's a lot of doubts that we give ourselves. We limit ourselves in many ways. Yeah. I've been in positions whereby, you know, like you're looking at a role and you're thinking, I only have 80%. I don't qualify. A man will look at it and feel I have 20%, so at least I have something. And I'm going to go for it. And that's another story I can share about one of the roles that I'm currently playing, which came out very clearly, whereby the man was so, forthright. This is what I'm going for. And I'm there thinking, am I good enough? Can I fit in those shoes? And we always find ourselves with a voice telling us, you're not capable. You cannot do it. Yeah. But guess what? The message I want to leave you with is learn how to silence that thought that comes to your mind. We are capable. We can do it. If you told me beginning of this year, I'll have written a book before the year ends, I'll have said, you must be crazy. Yeah, you must be crazy. And even the period that I was given to write that chapter, I looked at it and for a few nights, I lost my sleep because I couldn't imagine it is possible. But guess what? Now when I take my time to pause and look back, I'm grateful to Zion Pearl for pushing me an extra mile, for getting me out of my comfort zone to convince me that, yes, you're capable for bigger and better. So this is only one chapter. I'm looking now to writing my own book, just to author the book alone without having other authors. So I want to encourage you, ladies and the gentlemen on this call, that we can do it. Let's manage that voice that keeps coming. There's somebody who once talked about that little voice, and it's something that we cannot avoid. So what she was advising is when that voice comes, talk to it like a human being and tell the voice, oh, so you're back here again. Can you please have your seat there and have a cup of coffee? You have to talk to it like a human being so that it gets off your mind. And the minute you get it off your mind, then you're able to continue with what you want to do. Yeah. And you can push yourself a little harder and think about all the people who have done it are people who have the same blood like you. They are human beings like you. They have 24 hours in a day like you. So what is stopping you? What is stopping you? It's all in your mind, ladies and gentlemen. So let's remember that. And I look forward to welcoming you on 1st of November. There's a lot that we can share. Even now, after Dottie would ask me a question, when the next speaker is talking, I'm thinking, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. So please come so that we can share what we have not shared in this 1.5 hour sessions and many other things, which is not even in the book. And we can continue encouraging each other and, hand holding, like I said, as we move forward. We want to see everybody rising up. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Catherine. Before we proceed to the next panelist, allow me to just read more of comments coming in here. Congratulations, ladies. You have made us proud. Congrats, ladies from Zion Pal. Thank you, Catherine from Naomi Gashara. Grace Thitai says, congratulations, ladies. You have made us proud. Nicholas Washira says, wow, congratulations, ladies. And she has dropped you 3 flowers. Can you pick one each? Ray T says, congratulations, indeed. Leadership has a ripple effect. We appreciate your impact. Comfort Mugambi says, congratulations, ladies. You are all so inspiring. Special shout out to Julia. I have witnessed her leadership in action, and I'm so excited about this milestone. Thank you all for inspiring us to do hard things. And the CEO and the director of Zion Pearl Publishers is saying you ladies make him feel buoyant. Just recognizing him for pushing you, a little harder and making sure you're part of this. He's so proud of you. Then Claire says, congratulations. Thanks for the inspiration. I celebrate you ladies and I'm so encouraged. May God continue to guide you in your life's journey. May God continue to guide you in your life's journey. Just allow me to finish reading them, then I can get back to you, panelists. Winfrida Otieno, so inspiring. I have to read the book. Winfrida, have you seen the pre-order form? You can either register for the attendance and you'll get a book, or you can pre-order in case you won't be able to attend. I'm currently transitioning into a managerial position. This will help for sure. This will be helpful. Need to get a copy for yourself. Rachel Kigondu, awesome ladies. Your stories are so inspiring. Shout out to Julia. You're an amazing leader, inspiring many young and even older women. Keep soaring. If you wish to be part of the launch, we have the registration link shared in the chat. Please go ahead and register and join us on the day as we celebrate these 13 incredible women. If you want to pre-order the book, probably because your schedule does not permit you to attend, you can also go ahead and make your order. We have the order link available. Do you have any questions? Do you have any concerns? Feel free to reach out to us. Our contacts are also availed in the chat. So I get back to my panelist. Linda, Mworia, the floor is yours. Give us a parting shot and do a special welcome to the launch happening on the 1st. You're welcome.
Thank you, Dottie, and thank you everybody who still joined in since we began. So my parting shot, I think, is to tell everybody that once you get into a project, once you begin a project, or when somebody like what Doso did, he came with a proposal, and we had a choice to say yes or no, but the 13 of us chose to say yes and to take up this challenge, even in as much as it wasn't the easiest thing to do, or it's not something that we've done before, but we chose to take that risk, not even risk. We took up that faith and said we'll go ahead with it. And so mine is to ask everybody to take up that challenge, that role. When you're called upon to do something, maybe it's not within your sphere of life or something that you're very comfortable with, just say yes and then learn on the go. And I think that's what I did. I'm more of a talker than a writer, but I took up this challenge because, one, as I said earlier, I think it's a prayer that was answered, but also it's a challenge that I decided to take up to, one, not just write a book, but to make an impact into somebody's life. And I hope that as people go through this book, as people read through all the chapters, they will feel encouraged, they will feel inspired, and their lives will be changed in one way or the other. There's somebody I've seen on the chat saying that they have just gotten into a managerial position, and they feel, even from this conversation only, that they have been helped. And I believe that is what we wish the readers of this book, and even those who attend the launch, to take up, to pick something that will change their lives. And so mine is to say karibuni sana on 1st of November at the Trademark Hotel. We look forward to seeing each and every one of you. And we believe that launch will change your life in one way or the other, either through what you hear or through the people that you meet. So karibuni, and hope to see each and every one of you there. Asante. And thank you for attending this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. So to our last panelist to speak, please share with us a parting shot and also do a special welcome for the event coming up on the 1st of November. You're welcome.
All right, thanks, Dottie. The way she leads is more than just a collection of stories. It is a testament of resilience, strength, and limitless potential of every single woman. It's a book that I think most of us have put our hearts, we've put our mind, and we call people to come and share their stories of courage, because we also want to hear, where are you in life? The journey doesn't end here for me and my co-authors. It's just the beginning. So we hope that we can inspire you to step into your power, to embrace different stories, and also learn with conviction. When you come for this event, I hope and I pray that it may be a life-changing moment for each one of you, that you may go ahead and be able to have resilience, strength, and also find what is that you want to lead with purpose and also with grace. As I leave, I just want to thank each and every one of you who has joined us. I thank my family, because I've seen many of my family members have also joined, my colleagues as well, and also my mentors who have also joined. It is literally a tear-jerking moment for me, because I feel very encouraged, as I mentioned. It is a support system that helps you to propel, and standing on the shoulders of giants has been one of exemplary leadership, which I thank each and every one of you who has been able to come. And we also welcome you to join us on the 1st of November. It will be the beginning of the close of the year. And we welcome you to come, interact with us, have fun, and also celebrate on this milestone, which me and my co-authors have been able to have. 13 women have come together to share their stories. It's an impeccable journey. And we hope that this can be able to have a catalyst for each and one of you in your life. Thank you. Thank you. Asante.
Thank you, Julia. Thank you, our panelists, for today. You have done a good job. That has been an inspirational conversation. Even on this end, as a moderator, I'm also getting impacted. I have a few takeaways for today. And I will just share them briefly, just a few out of the many that I have. We are reminded to grow where we are planted. I wonder whether it's possible to grow somewhere else other than where you're planted. We are reminded to grow where we are planted. Number two, we have been reminded never to throw away our families for the sake of our careers, because time will catch up with us. When you're called to a position of leadership, you also must qualify yourself. That is so profound. When you're called to positions of leadership, you also must qualify yourself. Once you are lifted up, also remember to stretch your hand down and lift others up. What have we been promised for the event? I'll just list a few of some of the promises we have been given today. You will be inspired. You will learn. You will be challenged. You will have an opportunity to network. You will not come to that event and leave the same. With that, we want to say thank you to our audience for being part of our conversation today. You made this possible by giving us a listening ear, and we so look forward to having you at the launch. To our panelists, you have done a great job. We expect to hear more from you in the coming days. You might be coming back again or on the launch day. Thank you so much, Zion Pearl, for the opportunity of bringing us all together. This is a good platform. We thank you. So as we come to the end, allow me to close with a word of prayer like we started with the same. Father, in the name of Jesus, we are grateful for the opportunity we've had, even to inspire one another. Thank you for the opportunity to listen to these three ladies that, Father, you have called to speak to us today. We are grateful for the impact they will not only have in our lives, the listeners of today, but even of those that will come on the launch date. We thank you for the success of the launch. We give you glory and honor, for we know you have gone ahead of us. Thank you, Father, that everyone that will interact with this book will never remain the same. They will change for good, for the glory and honor of your name. We give you praise and we give you honor. And it is in Jesus' name that we have prayed. And I can say thank you so much. I request the panelists to remain as others take their leave. The panelists remain briefly as others take their leave. Zion Pearl says, excellent work, proud of you. Ladies, well done, ladies. You have made us, you make us proud. Very good. The future is surely bright. Terry Shiundu, I didn't see you. Even with the remaining few people, allow me to recognize your presence. Terry Shiundu is a co-author of the book. Glad to have you here. And thank you for staying through.
Oh, hi, Dottie. Hi, everyone. So sorry. My internet acted up. I dropped off at some point. I have just joined, then had my name.
Yeah, you are meant to be recognized today. Thank you for joining.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, ladies. I have been so blessed just listening to you before I dropped off earlier. And I am definitely looking forward, as with everyone, to the launch and to the book. Thank you very much.
Terry will be speaking in our webinar on the 14th, so you can also come and join and just listen to her speak. Thank you, Terry.
Thank you, Dottie.
Other than the panelists, any other audience can feel free to leave. You're free to leave.